Hello, everyone. It's Heather with Reflecting Inward Life Coaching. And today is going to be kind of an introduction to a new series we're doing for Dr. Pucci's 26 Common Mental Mistakes. And the mental mistakes are also referred to as limiting beliefs or irrational beliefs. So today is just going to be kind of an introduction to them and some things to remember as we go into learning about them and overcoming them. So some of the things I wanted to just touch on briefly as we go into this are some of the life-changing beliefs that I encountered, my aha moments as part of healing my inner child and overcoming my irrational beliefs, my limiting mindsets, my insecurities, really. And so the life-changing beliefs that I had that I specifically wanted to focus on for the introduction today, there are three of them. The first one is be true to yourself. So that means we have been influenced heavily by society, culture, friend groups, our educators at school, families, religious groups. And a lot of times we tend to be impacted, influenced by them, and our beliefs shift to become what their beliefs are. So coming into this, we need to remember, don't let the expectations of society, culture, friends, religion groups, school, family groups determine who you are and what your beliefs or what your choices should be. So be grateful for the lessons you have learned from them in those groups. Kind of look at them from a perspective of objectivity of, how does this feel to me? Does this seem quite right? I need to determine for myself what truth is and not just be told what truth is. And then also love who you are now and love who you're becoming. Okay, it's all part of a process. The next one I wanted to focus on is to be open to new information. No one knows everything. Okay, so be open to the idea that maybe I'm not right, and that's okay. It's okay to still be learning. I'm here to learn, to grow. And so I just need to, when I start feeling a little like defensive, just take a deep breath and say, it's okay. What can I learn from this person or from this situation? Ask, I wonder questions. I wonder what they were thinking about that. I wonder what made them want to do that. And become a detective. Try to understand. And as you take that approach, the open approach to understand, you'll learn new things and you'll have a greater perspective and you'll realize it's okay to still be learning. The third thing is to avoid assumptions. Okay. So our environment impacts us all the time throughout our entire lives. And a lot of times we take those beliefs and those perspectives, we put them into a little box with a label on them, good, bad, especially about others. They have good intentions. They had bad intentions. They're trying to do this. They're trying to do that. And it's a way to try to defend ourselves and keep ourselves in our safe, secure zone, our comfort zone. So try to avoid assumptions. Assumptions are based on our experiences and our beliefs from our past, and they disregard the experiences of those we're interacting with and keep us from understanding them and the situation without our personal life experience bias. Okay. So let's jump in here. And next, I wanted to just show you a list of the various mental mistakes. Okay. Where I'm not going to go through every single one of these right now, simply because we're going to have an entire video for each one of them coming up in this series. So if you need to, pause the video, take a look at these 26 common mental mistakes, and maybe pick out some of them that you have noticed in your life that you have engaged in and that have controlled your life in some way or limited your abilities, your choices because of this coming out in you. Um, Maybe just consider which ones are tucked away in your subconscious that come out every so often. And also consider which one of these maybe you don't understand what it is, you need to learn more about, you want to understand how it works because you're not sure if you relate to that one or not. Okay. Always feel free to send me a message, to send me an email, to request an appointment to talk about any of these. Um, Also, emails, messages, those aren't considered appointments at all. So please send me as many messages or as many emails as you need to understand anything that we're talking about or coming across. Okay. So let's move on. And okay, so coming into talking about the mental mistakes, we need to remember to focus on what is the person's goal. So, what is your goal? Perhaps one of the limiting beliefs is, for example, I'm too fat. Well, too fat for what? Well, I'm too fat. I'll never be able to find a good companion who loves me for who I am. Okay, so let's think about this. Do you know anyone else that you consider overweight that you would say is, quote, too fat? Well, yes. Okay, so do you know any of these individuals who are married to good people in a good relationship? Well, yes. And even if they don't know someone personally, like look at celebrities, look at people you see on TV, the news, whatever. Do you find anyone in the world who you consider to be overweight who's in a good relationship, a loving relationship? The answer is going to be, of course, yes. Okay. So then let's move on. Okay. So it's not, is it really about being too fat? Let's look at the truth and the facts. Okay. The truth and the facts are there are people out there in this situation who are in loving, caring, supportive relationships. So remember to focus on personal strengths. So by now, hopefully, they've done like the VIA character strengths, the big five. Maybe they've done the Enneagram. Maybe they have done Gardner's Intelligences. There's a whole list of personality or strength assessments at www.reflectinginward.org under self-discovery, that section of the free resources. So take a look at those. And then I would say, look at those strengths. Let's take a look at all the different results of your strengths. Okay. So tell me about your strengths. If you were to see these strengths on anyone else's profile, has someone else's name on it, this is John Doe, this is Jane Doe. What would you think about this person if you saw these lists of strengths? And of course, they're probably going to say, well, they're pretty cool. They can do some cool things. They'd be able to do a lot of cool things. Awesome, great. Now let's look at your values. Do you want someone who appreciates you and loves you and accepts you for your strengths, what you can do, your abilities, and the way you want to impact the world, your values, the things that are important to you, and how you want to pursue those in your life? Do you want someone who loves you for those things or for your weight, which can fluctuate? Okay. Also, we talked about this very briefly before, being true to yourself. Okay. Do you want to care more about what other people think about you? Or do you want to care more about what you think about you? Think again about those personal strengths, your personal values. Is it important to you to be true to those values, to be true to those strengths, to who you are? Or is it more important to you to be accepted by someone else whose values and are going to be changing constantly? Society, culture. 20 years ago, a model was a completely different look than it is today. 50 years ago, even more different. 50 years from now, what is a model going to look like? Okay. It's always changing. So don't base your value on what society and culture says, because it's always changing. And you're probably never going to be good enough for some people who are still struggling with their own issues. Okay. Be true to you. Love you. Next thing is positive thought. So if you did not notice, all the 26 mental mistakes listed come from a place of negativity, of fear, of insecurity, and judgment. So instead of when you have these negative feelings and the negative words are coming out, the judgmental words, the limiting words are coming out, think about the positive things like the what if. I'm still learning. What if I'm wrong? What if there is good out there? What am I afraid of in the good? If I were to have the good in my life, why am I afraid of that? Very frequently, it's because we're not used to experiencing the good, the positive. And it's kind of scary because deep down, we feel like we don't deserve the good. And that's part of the healing the child within. There's another video about healing the child within. And these are all a part of taking care of sweeping up the mess that's left behind by the child within over years and years and years of judgment. Okay. So think about the positive. What if there is a positive result? What if I am good enough? What if positive change is possible? Okay. Again, the next one's possibilities. Possibilities are endless. Don't let the past limit you for what the future could hold for you, because your strengths and your values and holding true to those and being true to yourself, making your decisions in life based upon what's truly important to you individually, that opens up doors of possibilities that weren't possible before because you weren't being true to your strengths. You weren't being true to your values. You weren't being true to you. You were letting other people determine your value, your personal value. And we're done with other people directing our beliefs about our personal value. We're good enough. We deserve it. So we're going to start making choices and moving and acting like we deserve it. The possibilities are endlessly positive. Okay. So again, I wonder what's coming next. I wonder what good could come when I do this. And when if something bad happens, I'm going to notice it and then I'm going to look for the good. Okay. Because there's going to be good. And then experiments, try new things. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, like in the past, you're going to keep getting the same thing over and over and over in the future. I believe it was Albert Einstein that said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. Okay. We can't do that anymore. Now that we know ourselves, we love ourselves, we value ourselves, we're going to put the influence that is had on our life is going to be based on our view of ourselves instead of others' views of ourselves. Now we can do some experiments and try new things that maybe were outside of our comfort zone before. And when we try those experiments, we only do it with an attitude of observation. I just wonder what's going to happen when I try this new thing. Don't put any expectation on it. When I try this new thing, I'm going to become a millionaire. Well, that's an expectation. And if you, in 3 days after you try it, if you're not a millionaire, are you going to be disappointed? You are. So try something new with simply the mindset of, I wonder what's going to happen. I'm just going to try this and see what happens. I'm going to talk to this person about this thing that I want to move toward and see what happens. Make this phone call, send this email, research this on YouTube or whatever, and just see what happens. See what good happens. The good possibilities, focus on the positive thoughts, the good things you're learning from it. Because if you're learning from it, we're always heading in a good direction. Okay. And that's what we're going to focus on as we start going into each of the individual common mental mistakes. So come back to this page here so you can see what they are again. And please feel free to send me a message or to ask a question if you have any going into these. And I will go through in order. 1, 2, 3. So all or none thinking, overgeneralization, mental filter. I'll be going through those in order. So if you have any questions about the ones at the top, ask those first, because I will be covering people's questions as I do the video for each one. Okay. So I hope this has been valuable to you. Send me your questions, send me your thoughts, your concerns, and I will see you again soon. I love you all, and I look forward to seeing how all this turns out and how it changes your life for the better. See you soon.